decisions that you've made today, the reprieve that you're offering a number of Canadians, including many rural ones, is not going to impact in any way the overall objectives that you've set out very specifically to reduce emissions.
I think it will have a huge effect in 3 years' time when we have a critical mass of people in Atlantic Canada who have switched from home heating oil, which is far more polluting than heat pumps, and will save people a lot more money. And this gives us the opportunity to do that. The point is not, at the end of the day, scoring political points because you're consistent on this or whatever. The point has always been and should always be, we need to get people to start lowering emissions, even in the residential and domestic use, because all of that adds up to a lot. And if we can do that by making it affordable for people and getting rid of the upfront cost, we're off to the races.
The decisions that you've made today.
Let me just preface this. That's not Doogie Howser. That's not Neil Patrick Harris. His name is Seamus O'Hagan. Hold on, what's his name again? Seamus O'Regan. He's a Canadian politician. He might very well be Neil Patrick Harris's brother from another mother, sister from another mister, the joke I just made in our locals community. That's a Canadian politician, a member of Justin Trudeau's Liberal government, explaining how they are pausing their carbon tax. We'll get to an article summarizing it in the Maritimes because cost of living in Canada, as elsewhere, is getting to be so high that they can't continue to impose these policies that increase the cost of living. He posted this thinking it makes him look good. I just want to highlight one sentence that if you're astute, or if you follow me on Twitter or in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community, you'd know that I've already highlighted.
The reprieve that you're offering a number of Canadians, including many rural ones, is not going to impact in any way the overall objectives that you've set out very specifically to reduce
the carbon tax. You know what the funny thing is? The carbon tax is not going to do anything overall to reduce emissions. You know why? Because even if you buy into the emissions argument that emissions are the be-all and end-all of climate change, Canada as a whole emits 1.25% of global emissions. So you could shut off Canada entirely, not just carbon tax here and there in the Maritimes that cripples the cost of living in Canada, and it would do nothing. But hold on. They're offering a reprieve because the cost of their other policies of printing cash, massive immigration, that has its problems as well. They're offering a reprieve. Let's hear how the politician justifies his volte-face, comme on dit en français.
I think it will have a huge effect in 3 years' time when we have a critical mass of people in Atlantic Canada who
Doogie Howser, man. Tell you what.
Far more polluting than heat pumps, and will save people a lot more money. And this gives us the opportunity to do that. The point is not, at the end of the day, scoring political points because you're consistent on this or whatever.
The point at the end of the day is not to score political points because you're consistent. He posted that thinking that makes him look good and not like a raging hypocrite. Oh, look, the point here is not consistency. The point here is not logic, and it's not following through on our promises because the world is literally going to end. Every now and again, it's good to be inconsistent. It's good to be a hypocrite. It's good to come back on your policies after all the doom and gloom. It's outrageously hilarious that he thought that makes him look good as opposed to looking like an absolute partisan hack buffoon. Yes, I'm using lots of mean words, but I'm backing them up with hard facts, people. This is it. So is this it? Is this the right article? Get that. Saskatchewan vows to stop collecting Canada's carbon tax on heating. I think this is the right article. The leader of the Canadian province Saskatchewan vowed to stop collecting carbon taxes on homes heated with natural gas from 2024 if Ottawa does not expand an exemption announced last week for the Atlantic provinces. There's a sentiment in Canada that is supporting the Wexit, which is the Western Brexit of Canada, the Western Canada breaking away from Canada, from the country that is Canada, because a lot of people feel that Trudeau and his quasi-liberal government, they're actually fascist tyrants, we'll call them liberals just for the sake of it, have had an all-out war on the Maritimes, not on the Maritimes, I'm sorry, on the Western provinces, the gas industry, and they take all of the wealth from the Western provinces, siphon it over to Quebec, Ontario, and the Maritimes, and the West is pissed. And now Justin Trudeau, after crippling the West through all of his policies on no more gas and pipelines in Canada, we're going to, beg on our hands and knees for Saudi Arabian oil and Venezuelan oil. Yeah, after he's done doing all of that, he's giving an exemption to the Maritimes that apparently he has not extended to the Western provinces. Thursday, and I'll highlight this next paragraph as we go forward, and then I'm going to make sure that we're live everywhere that we should be. On Thursday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he would pause the carbon levy. Oh, the carbon levy. It's like the episode of The Simpsons. We got to find a word that doesn't sound like tax. How about colossal cash grab? No, you see, Millhouse, that's just as bad. It's a levy, people. It's a levy. It's not a tax. It's a levy. Let's just hear what this goes. On heating oil for Atlantic Canada to offset the high price of the fuel that is mainly used in the maritime provinces and help them counter cost of living expenses. I cannot accept the federal government giving an affordability break to people in one part of Canada, but not here, said the Prime Minister Mo. So that's the insanity coming out of Canada. Policies that drive up the cost of living. What just happened here? Let's close this down. Drive up the cost of living. Despite all the promises, the doom and gloom, we will die. The earth will end. How dare you steal the lives, the futures of children across Canada? No. To get some political points, because the policy is jacking up the cost of living. People out in the Maritimes, I mean, they're not rich provinces out in the Maritimes. I think they're among the most, I don't want to use the word impoverished, the least financially well-off provinces in Canada. So to offset that and the cost of their policies, they're going to give a little benefit here to the Atlantic provinces, but not to those rich, bad Western provinces. And then you got Seamus O'Regan coming on Twitter, posting that on Twitter. The point is not consistency for policies, okay? The point is that we need to be able to do whatever we want, regardless of our policies, regardless of consistency, inconsistency, hypocrisy. And when we do it, we're virtuous for having done it. It's the liberal fascist way. Okay.